Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to the university. I hope everyone is still passionate and enthusiastic to continue your semester. We just have a few weeks left before we can wrap the semester up. So I hope everyone still have that strong will to continue your study. Today, I am Dr. Nurhanis Diana Nizaruddin. Will be here with you on a guest lecture in your class ALA 2293, Landscape Planning Techniques. Today, I will be sharing the bits and pieces of GIS, a system and a tool that can be used for spatial mapping in landscape architecture. Before I continue, I would like to thank your lecturer, Associate Professor LAR Dr. Khalilah Zakariya, for inviting me to be here with you in your class and to share a bit of my knowledge and an area of expertise in this particular subject. Okay. I hope everyone can take note, remember some points along the line, because I might ask some questions later during the Q&A session, or if you have some questions to be delivered to me, you can just pop anytime during the Q&A session and I will try my best to answer your question. Okay, my first question to you is, do you know what GIS is? Okay, I'm not sure whether or not you have heard about GIS before this. You might heard about it from your seniors, or maybe your lecturer herself has mentioned about it, or even you might read it somewhere in your book, or even during other subjects that are being taught by another lecturers. So, what is GIS basically? Okay, GIS. There are 3 letters over here. Okay, what is G? Okay, basically G is geographical. We know when we talk about geographical or geography, it has something to do with location, with a setting that has a geography context. Okay, I is information. Okay, we know that information is a set of data that contains some of details that we want to know about something. That is information. And we have S. What is S? S is particularly system. Okay. System is a set of process or codings that had been set for something to make sure that something can be delivered in an organized manner. So basically, what we can wrap up about GIS is geographical information system. Or in another way, in a longer definition or technical definition, GIS is a system that actually delivers an information about geographical location or settings. Okay, I might show something details about it later on. Okay, GIS, before it is known as GIS, it has a set of history. Okay, basically, I want you to know that before GIS comes, what is in the first place? Okay, if you can see over here at the top, okay, we have the term GIS was known as spatial analysis. Okay, spatial here means something that is related to space. Okay, spatial. Okay, analysis, a set of process that need to be done to know about something. Okay, basically, it is about spatial analysis. Okay, spatial analysis has been pioneered by Charles Piquet in 1832. Okay, Charles Piquet is a French, okay, where he invented spatial analysis to create a map of cholera outbreak in 48 districts of Paris. Okay, like we have what we have now is COVID. Okay, cholera is also a disease that has been spread throughout Paris in that time. So this particular person, Piquet, he wanted to have a compiled information about that outbreak in 48 settings of Paris. So he came out with the spatial analysis in a form of maps. Alright. Okay. Then it goes to another set of history Inspired by PK, John Snow, a British, in 1854, he then somehow, copied the method of spatial analysis made by PK to depict the cholera death occurred in London at that time. So basically, PK has another successor, which is John Snow. And then after quite some time, in early 20th century, this spatial analysis thing has become something in trend, okay, over the years and over the century. And during early 20th century, photozincography had been pioneered. So I put question marks over here. So I would like you to search what is photozincography, and please let me know in the end of the session. Okay? For you to find, for me to know. Photozincography is a set of things, so please search about it. Alright, after spatial analysis and photozincography, here it comes the term of GIS, Geographical Information System. It was pioneered by Roger Tomlinson. Okay, so basically, that the photozincography is during the 20th century. So early 1960s, Roger Tomlinson had pioneered the GIS thing. Okay, the idea of GIS, its first iteration. Okay, iteration means process. The repeating process contains of three things. First, store, then collate, and also analyze. Okay, these three processes must be repeated to actually compile an information about the land usage. Okay, for example, in the sketch, in this left-hand side, you can see I put a map of circulation. Okay, and the stacks of maps beneath it. So maybe it is on another inventory elements of maps. Okay, so land usage, as what you have learned in your studio, you are now in your second year. Okay, your second year, so you have learned like three previous studio. You know what are the inventory elements. So these are the elements that can be put to store, to be stored, to be collated and analyzed based on land usage. Okay, so basically that's about it on the history part of GIS. Now we can wrap up what is GIS means. Okay, what GIS means. It is a system to first capture, second to store, to manipulate, to analyze, to manage, and to present all types of geographical data. Your inventory elements are your geographical data because it contains everything on land. Okay, even everything on the air, something that can be obtained perhaps by drone or something else that can be mapped by the airplanes is also considered as geographical data. Okay, again, GIS is a system to deliver information about the geographical data. Okay, GIS is a system and it is also a tool. GIS also comes in the form of software. Alright, okay, here I outline a few top-rated software that have been used in the market or that have been used in the university and are still used in the industry. Okay, the first top software is ArcGIS by Esri. Okay, Esri is one particular organization that actually produce or sell and market GIS. So it's a very well-known organization. ArcGIS is used well-known in the global context. It is very powerful in helping the designers or even the planners to do the planning of the site. Okay, same goes to other software, but other software, some of them are open source. Open source means something that is free online that can be used by public. The ArcGIS, it is a licensed software. Okay, Quantum GIS or QGIS is an open software that can be used by you. You can always download it in the internet. Okay, MapInfo. MapInfo is another powerful software. It is a licensed one in IIUM, in KAED itself. We use MapInfo for the study purposes. So if let's say inshallah next semester you will be taking GIS subject, you will learn GIS by using MapInfo at the GIS lab downstairs. Okay, you have Grass GIS, we have Global Mapper, we have Hexagon Geo Media. So these are the most known GIS software that can be obtained online or even purchase its license. So I just have the experience to use 3 of them, which are the top one: ArcGIS, Quantum GIS, and MapInfo. So for me, from my experience, ArcGIS is the most user-friendly GIS software, in which it has more tools and features to be explored by the users. Alright, okay, since we are in landscape architecture, here today I would like to share what GIS can do for us, the landscape architects. Okay, I haven't mentioned GIS can be used for which discipline. Okay, usually GIS is broadly used in urban and regional planning. The planners use GIS very well. If you go to JUPEM, Jabatan Ukur dan Pemetaan Malaysia, okay, there's a specific department or unit that handle mapping for by using GIS. They are the person who do surveys, who do mapping, and they are experts in GIS. Okay, some of the urban planners also use GIS to do their regional and township planning. Okay, but us landscape architects, how can we use GIS in our particular discipline or field? Okay, basically, we can use it for land use planning. We can use it for landscape resource planning, in which this will be the studio subject that you will embark, I think, next semester, the 3rd year, 1st semester. So landscape resource planning is important for all of you because it involves a bigger scope of site. Okay. Under landscape resource planning, there goes the topic on suitability analysis. I think you have heard about this because I think you have learned a bit on McHart techniques. So I'm sure you have heard about suitability analysis. You can do spatial mapping. Spatial means what I have mentioned in the beginning. Spatial means something related to spaces. If you want to do any design in your landscape spaces, you can also use GIS. And you can also use GIS for behavioral mapping. For example, you want to track or you want to see how the open spaces is being used, but open spaces are being used by the users. You want to map where the most frequent spots that are being used by the users. You can use GIS as well. Okay, I hope it is clear for you that how the GIS can be merged or can be applied into our discipline. Okay, I'm going to share with you on suitability analysis particularly because you have learned about McHart, and the next semester, inshallah, you will embark to landscape resource planning, which will need you to know more about suitability analysis. Okay, basically, what is suitability analysis? Suitability analysis is the ideal to know or to gauge what is the ideal development of one particular site. For example, now you are doing your urban design in Tanjung Malem. Okay, you have certain design theme for your design. So you want to know whether or not Tanjung Malem is ideal to propose certain things in Tanjung Malem area, whether it can be ideal for the locals, whether it can be ideal for the site itself, how it is going to be to promote sustainability of the site, or how can it preserve its safety and also its conservation aspects of the site and whatnot. So suitability analysis is one of the powerful tools to help you to gauge the ideal development of the site. So how? Okay, since you have learned several landscape planning techniques, you have McHart, you have Steinitz, you might have LESA, you might have LCA and whatnot. Okay, for example, if we take McHart, McHart actually had coined the term suitability analysis to be done in the landscape planning and design. Okay, it is via overlay technique. Okay, so basically, what is overlay technique? Overlay technique comprised of several processes, which is first the maps compilation. Okay, for example, you have went to Tanjung Malem for your site visit and inventory. So you have done your site inventory, analysis, and synthesis. So you have came out with a set of maps. For example, single maps including of circulation, vegetation, accessibility, what else? Cultural values and whatnot. So these single maps need to be collected and need to be compiled in order for you to do the overlay technique. Alright, second, the overlay technique comprise of scoring. Okay, you have those maps that had been compiled, and then you have to do the scoring for each maps. Okay, for example, we have the maps of vegetation, for example. Okay, you have a map of vegetation. You want to know which area needs to be preserved and conserved, which area can be suitable for moderate development, or even it is very or highly suitable for development. For example, here in the sketch, I put 3 scores, 1, 2, 3, and with gradients of colors from the slower hues to the higher hues. So this will indicate, for example, 3 might be something that is need to be conserved. Okay, so you put a maybe because the 3 part consists of forest species, for example, and the first part, the number 1 point, the score, number 1 score might be on most on the lowland area or the flatland area that has potential for development, not concerning any endangered species of vegetation and whatnot. So that is how you score the maps in overlay technique. And then after you scored everything, every single maps, you will do the overlay from one to another to see which is the congruent part of the maps. Okay, somehow from one maps to another, the score number 3 might overlap in another score of 3 in another maps. So it can be something that we can see, something that is consolidated in one maps later on. After you overlay, you will see how it's going to be merged. Okay. Alright, like this. For example, after you have compiled everything, you have overlaid everything, you will come out with one single map, which is called as a composite map. Composite means you have known which area that overlaps to each other on those map layers before this, and you will come out with a summary of suitability to the development. For example, here I put in the legends, the darkest blue will be suitable for conservation, and then the second one on the second tone will be moderate development, and the turquoise color would be the high potential of development. So that's how you do your overlay technique in GIS. So GIS is wonderful tool. It's a wonderful tool. It can help you to do overlay technique. Today I'm showing you in a manual kind of way because how GIS will help you in the software itself will be like this. Okay, for example, this is map info interface. Okay, alright, if you can see over here, this is how 3 different soil types had been mapped in map info, software map info. Okay, there is clay, loam, and sands. Okay, so how the advantage of GIS is once you have mapped things, you can actually store detailed information about each of these. For example, this is clay, and you can add on in the table about the size of the land, of the clay land. Okay, and same goes to the rest. So this is the advantage of GIS, in which if you do manually, you cannot store detailed information about something. But by using GIS, you can use the software to help you to store some details information about it. So this is one map on soil. You can have another map on maybe vegetation and whatnot. Third map maybe on circulation. So later on, you can actually compile these 3 maps to be in the GIS to be overlaid. Then you will get scoring, and also you will get the composite maps. So that is how GIS works. I might not show you details about this particular software because inshallah you have learned things in the next semester. So I hope that you can grab whatever I have explained to you about GIS in a quick manner. I mean, like, this is just a simple overview. So I hope if you have any question to us, you can just pop to me, and inshallah, I will try to answer you within my capacity. So basically, that's about it. That's about my sharing today. Any questions? I welcome all questions, and thank you very much for having me here today. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.